You can't hear me? Okay, let me speak up. Morty, let me just say beautiful songs from a beautiful person. You will be missed. You and one of both.
Praise God.
Praise the Lord that we got to know you in the short time we have since we've been a part of this church. And you've touched our lives and made it even more special. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Let y'all know real quick.
You better kick you.
There you go.
There.
Just to give you a quick thing, I've got pleurisy. I'm recovering from it. So if I take a deep breath, and I stop for a second because I got a little pain in my side that I have to deal with. So please bear with me. I'll make this as painful, less as painful as possible.
If you get too bad, Rick, I'll take you out back and shoot you and put you out of your misery.
That's all right. She's already threatened to do that. It don't matter. I got the perfect answer for you. Anyway, I want to continue my little series I started. As I dove into it, I knew it was going to be a long one. But the more I look, it's like, wow, I could do this probably once a month for the next 3 years and still not cover everything I need to cover. So I'm trying to make it just as short and sweet as possible. And yeah, I'm dressed like this today for a reason. I am. Because when I got up, of course, I knew I was in some pain. And I sat there and I went to grab my dress clothes and it's like, no, God don't want me to wear dress clothes today. He wants me to wear a t-shirt and shorts. Because it's not what you look like. It's not how you dress. It's what you have in your heart for Him.
Amen.
And how you worship. So anyway, getting back to our Wrath of God series. As you can see, that's my favorite picture. I'm glad he got that in there again this week. All right, we're going to... Oh, you got them in the wrong areas.
Is that the wrong one?
Yes, it is.
Well, go to the next one then. You'll like it better.
Well, I'll have to bounce back and forth because he's tried to enter for me, and
I tried to do that in Jamaica.
it wasn't too easy. Well, let's start with the picture there. Now, most of these pictures were taken by NASA, and if you look closely, you'll see things that might give your faith.
Scripture's on the next slide, so.
It'll give your faith a real look at. Because if you look at the picture there, what do you see? A hand.
A hand, yeah.
Is that a hand?
And the hand is forming something.
Okay.
All right, here we go. On 1 Kings, it shows 7 through 29, which actually is the wrong one. But you know what? We'll go with it. We'll just switch these around and make them work. 1 Kings 21, 7 through 29. And Jezebel and his wife said unto him, Dost thou not govern kingdom of Israel? Arise and eat bread, and let thy heart be merry. I will give thee a vineyard in Nazareth, the Jezreelite. So she wrote letters in Abraham's name and sealed them with his seal, sent the letters unto him, the elders, and to the nobles that were in the city, dwelling with Naboth. And she wrote in the letter saying, Proclaim a feast, and set Naboth on high among the people, and sent two men's sons of Belial before him, to bear witness against him, saying, Thou didst blaspheme God and king, and carry him out, and stone him, that they may die. And the men of his city, even the elders and the nobles who were in the inhabitants in his city, did as Jezebel had sent unto them, and as it was written in the letters she had sent unto them. They proclaimed a fast, and set Naboth on the high among the people. And there came two men, children of Belial, and set before him. And the men of Belial witnessed against him, and even against Naboth, in the presence of the people, saying, Naboth and blasphemy God and the king. They carried him forth out to the city, and stoned him with stones that he died. Okay. With stones. Because of blasphemy. But who was the actual person that committed these crimes? Was it the man that came up there and made that statement? Or was it Jezebel? who sat there before and in her husband's name set these out. Set out these sentences to tell them, hey, this is what you're going to do. But she done it in the king's name. Was she the king? Was she the one God told to do this to? Or was there something else there happening? Then they sent to Jezebel saying, Naboth is stoned and is dead. And it came to pass when Jezebel heard that Naboth was stoned and was dead, that Jezebel said unto Ahab, Arise, take possession of the vineyard of Naboth, the Jezreelite, which he refused to give thy money, for Naboth is not alive but dead. And it came to pass when Ahab heard that Naboth was dead, that Ahab rose up to go down to the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite to take possession of it. And the word of the Lord came to Elijah and Tishbe, saying, Arise, go to meet Ahab, the king of Israel, which is in Samaria. Behold, he is in the vineyard of Naboth, where he is gone down to possess it. And thou shalt speak unto him, Thus the Lord saying, has killed and has also taken possession. And thou shalt speak unto him, saying, This truth of the Lord, in the place where dogs lick the blood of Naboth, shall dogs lick thy blood, even thine. And Ahab said to Elijah, Has he thou found me, O my enemy? And he answered, I have found thee, because thee hast sold thyself to work evil in the sight of the Lord.
Next slide.
Behold, I will bring upon thee, and will take thy positive away, cut off from Ahab, the passive against the wall, and him that is shut up and left in Israel. And it will make thy house like the house of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, and let the house of Baasha and the son of Elijah, for the provocation wherewith thou hast provoked me to anger, and made Israel to sin. Wow. Made Israel to sin. Ahab, the king of Israel, who listened to his wife Jezebel, who set this forward. Now, why would she do something like that? Why would Ahab listen, knowing he was supposed to serve God and Israel? Not for his self-proclaimed or what his wife thought they should do. When God tells you to do something, you do it. You don't listen to somebody else, whether it be your wife, your best friend, or your paternal parents. If God tells you, kneel down before thee and pray, do you do it?
Sure.
Well, yes, you're right. You do it. No matter what anybody else says, you do that because he has commanded you, or you face the consequences. And as Jezebel also spoke, the Lord saying, The dog shall eat Jezebel, and the wall of Jezreel. Him that dieth of Abraham, in the city of all dogs shall eat. And come that dieth in the fields shall fowls of the air eat. But there was none like unto Abraham, which did himself work wickedness in the sight of the Lord, when Jezebel his wife stirred it up. And he did all very abundantly in the following of idols, according to all the things as did the Amorites, whom the Lord cast out before the children of Israel. And it is come to pass, when Ahab heard those words, that he rent his clothes and packed sackcloth upon his flesh, and fasted, and lay sackcloth, and went softly. And the word of the Lord came to Elijah in Tishbe, saying, Seest thou how Abraham humbled himself before me? Because he humbled himself before me, I will not bring the evil in his days, but in his son's days, and will bring an evil upon his house. There's a man who truly knew that if he did not straighten up, he would feel the wrath of God. And he thought he was saving his whole family from doing it. But in reality, he was saving himself. For his sons would face the consequences and the wrath of God. When you deal with the Lord and you deal with listening to what He has to tell you, you deal with the consequences if you misbehave. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, you might as well face it. You're going to suffer. He's going to bring His wrath down on you. Yes, God is a loving God, but He's also a God that demands and will require respect. To understand that what He tells you because it's the truth and it's what you need to do and what you need to follow. And if you don't, then so be it. You bring this on to yourself. And by not following Him, cause the wrath to come down upon His sons. By listening to his wife, Jezebel, who set all of this in motion because she was greedy and wanted more. There's a good picture. Okay, which one's all right. There we go. All right, this one here is Jeremiah 5, verses 1 through 11. Run ye to and fro streets of Jerusalem, and see now and know, and seek in the board places thereof. If you can find a man, if there will be an exclusive judgment that seeketh the truth, I will pardon you. And then, thou say the Lord, let surely thou swear falsely. O Lord, are not thine eyes upon the truth? Thou hast stricken them, but they have not given, thou hast consumed them. But they have refused to receive correction. They have made their faces harder than rock. They have refused to return. Therefore I said, surely those are poor, though they are foolish, for they know not the way of the Lord, nor the judgment of their God. I will get me unto their great man, and will speak unto them, so they know the way of the Lord, and the judgment of their God. But those have altogether broken the yoke, and bust the bonds. Wherefore a lion out of the forest shall slay them, and a wolf of evening shall spoil them, and a leopard shall watch over the cities. Every one that goeth out therein shall be torn into pieces, because their transgressions are many, and their backslidings are increased. Now, what is he talking about there? What have they done? What have they gone out and done? They backed away from the Lord. They want to worship idols. They want to do things that we shouldn't do. They want to make sure that their lives are complete because they believe God is not there. God's not going to punish me. I can do what I want. I've got free will. He's only going to do what I want him to do. And when I want to worship him, I'll worship him. Not until then. And it doesn't matter what I do. I can do what I want. He is not going to punish me. How shall I pardon thee for this? Thy children have forsaken me, and sworn by them that there are no gods. What? No gods? When I had fed them to the full, they then committed adultery, and assembled themselves by the troops in the harlots of houses. They were as fed horses in the morning, every one neighbor after his neighbor's wife. Shall I not visit for these things, saith the Lord? And shall not my soul be avenged as such a nation as this? Give ye upon her walls, and destroy, but make not full end. Take away her battlements, for they are not of the Lord's. For the house of Israel and the house of Judea have dealt with very treacherously against me, saith the Lord. Chasing after your neighbor's wife, committing adultery. But the worst of the worst, he's saying there's no God. The punishment for that. The punishment is more than people can bear. For by going through that, it doesn't really say what God done. Was it because of what his consequences were so gruesome they felt like it shouldn't be printed? Or was it because those who committed it were too scared to speak of the consequences of what God brought forth unto them? Committing sins against God brings his wrath down upon you. Knowing and doing it, knowing you shouldn't. Now granted, we're going to make mistakes. Believe me, I make them every day. You can ask my wife, she'll tell you.
Yeah.
We all do.
Half the time she's like, you should have listened to me. And I'm like, yeah, I should have listened to you. But you know what? We live and we learn. But when it comes to the Lord, her faith is like mine. You're not going to move it. We try our best to live each and every day so that we don't make God mad. Believe. And make sure you don't want him coming down on you. For that may be the hand you see
Wow.
Oh, wow.
that's looking to bring his wrath upon you. Jeremiah 28, 9 through 17. Understand therefore, the Lord thy God giveth thee not as good land to possess it for the righteousness. For thou art stiff-necked people. Uh-oh.
Wrong one.
Because that part of it's missing. Oh, here we go. Remember and forget how that thou provokest the Lord thy God, the God to wrath in the wilderness. From the day thou didst depart out of the land of Egypt, until you came into this place, ye have been rebellious against the Lord. Also in Horeb ye provoked the Lord to wrath, so that the Lord was angry with you to have destroyed you, congregate and your congregations, into the land at which I have given them. What does that mean? The land that he had given them. They had sinned so poorly against him, he refused to let them go into the land. He took it away from them. Left them to bear for themselves. Left them to sit there and wonder, what am I going to do? How do I get back on the right path? How do I get back in God's good grace? For God gave me everything I wanted, but I turned my back on him. Why? Why would you want to turn your back on God? Is it because you think you're better than him? Is it because you think you know more than he does? Well, if you do, I'll be praying for you. Because I have not met a man yet today in my entire 52 years of existence that knows more than the Lord God. I met a few as old as him probably, but it's like my daddy used to tell me all the time. just remember this. What you reap, you sow. What you do will come back to you. So always try to do good, because if you try to do evil, then you'll wish to God you would have listened to me and the Lord. Okay, Lucidius. Lucidius 26, 13 through 19. I am the Lord your God, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt, that ye should not be their brethren. And I have broken the bounds of your yoke, and made you go upright. But if ye will not take the heart unto me, and I will do all these things, commandments, and if ye shall despise my status, if your soul abhor my judgments, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye broke my covenant, I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint you over you terror, compensation, and burning argue. That shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of the heart. And ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it. And I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before ye enemies, that thou hate you shall reign over you, and shall flee with none pursue you. And ye will not yet, for all these hearken unto me, that I will punish you 7 times more for your sins. And I will break the pride of your power, and I will make your heaven as iron, and your earth as brass. Powerful words from God. You break my commandments, you do what you want, and guess what? Your heaven is not going to be pleasant. You're going to walk on iron. You're going to sleep on brass. Or vice versa. You're not going to get the benefits, the pleasures, the joy, the happiness of a life ever after. You're going to get punished. Now to me, that passage, especially the last one, that I will make your heaven as iron and your earth as brass. That is a powerful, powerful statement. Because what's worse? Is it worse that he's going to make it iron or brass? But you have to remember, in order to mold your iron and brass, there has to be heat. Heat so horrible. So horrible, you will burn. So if you go sin against him, he's telling you what it's going to be like. You're not going to have the love, the joy, the nostalginess of everlasting love. You're going to be facing iron, brass. You're going to be facing a heaven that you don't want. Because it's not going to be heaven. Not for you. For him it will be. Because he will flatly say, I told you to do this and you went this way. I told you do not sin against me. You did. I told you to follow my commandments. You refused. I laid the law down. I made it simple and easy. What did you do? You went the opposite. You made the choice. You made your bed. Now you lie in it. And this one is a long one. I'm sorry for it. It's the last one. Should be. But it's kind of long, and I will try to make it as quick as possible because I know we're running out of time. Now dwelt the prophet of old Bethel, and his sons came and told him, the works that a man of God had done that day in Bethel, the words which he had spoken unto the king, them that told us to their father. And their father said unto him, what way went he for his sons, and seen what the man of God went, which he came from Judea? And he said unto his sons, saddle me an ass. So they saddled him an ass, and he rode thereon. And after he went up to the man of God, I found him sitting under an oak tree, and said unto him, art thou the man of God, comest from Judah? And he said, I am. Then he said unto him, come with me, and eat bread. And he said, I may not return to thee, nor go in with thee. Neither will I eat bread, nor drink water with thee in this place. For it was said to me by the word of the Lord, thou shalt eat no bread, nor drink water, nor turn again to go back by the way thou camest. So he's telling the prophet, the old prophet, you don't turn around, you don't go back, you keep moving forward. If you do, there will be consequences. Now he's following the word of the Lord. He's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. He's staying in his right path. He's made his statement. He's letting it lie. For it was said to me, the word of the Lord, okay. He said unto him, I am a prophet, also thou art. And an angel has spoken unto me by the word of the Lord, saying, bring him back with thee into the house, that they may eat bread, drink water. And he lied unto him. So the prophet of the town lied to the old prophet from Judea. Why? Because he wanted blessings. He wanted to seem like the big man in town. So he went back with him and did eat bread in his house and drink water. And it came to pass, as they sat at the table, that the word of the Lord came unto the prophet, brought him back. And he cried unto the man of God that came from Judea, saying, thou seest the Lord foresights me, and that thou hast disobeyed the mouth of the Lord, and has not kept the commandment which the Lord thy God commanded me. But comest back and has eaten bread and drank water in the place of which the Lord did to thee, eat no bread, drink no water. Thy carcass shall not come unto the sepulchre of thy fathers. And it came to pass, he had eaten bread after he had drank, that he had saddled him the ass, to wit for the prophet, whom he had brought back. And when he was gone, a lion met him by the wayside, and slew him. And the carcass was cast in the way, and the ass stood by it. The lion also stood by the carcass. We're going to stop right there because we're running short on time. But the lion didn't eat the carcass. The lion didn't eat the donkey. The old prophet got the news that he was dead. He come back to see for himself. When he got there, the prophet that lied to the old prophet from Judea, he saw the carcass laying there. The lion sitting beside it. The donkey sitting beside it. The carcass in full tap. His punishment for disobeying God was death. Because God told him, do not go back. Do not eat bread in that house. Do not drink water. Do not turn around, ye go forth. And instead of going forward like God told him to, he wanted to backtrack to a place of sins, knowing that that so-called prophet was only a prophet of lies. He done this to make himself look better. By lying to him, saying, well, an angel came to me and told me, because I'm a prophet too, that you're to come back. Well, being a man of God, he's thinking, okay, Who am I to go against an angel of God? But wouldn't the angel of God have gone to him personally and said, God has sent me to let you know it is okay to go back and drink water, eat bread in this house with this prophet? No. He took the word of someone else and refused to take the word of God. Do not go back. God's wrath sometimes is pretty bad. I can't imagine being killed by a lion. The torture, the pain that you will feel and suffer. But when God tells you to do something, you do it. You don't go against it, because His wrath, you never know if it's going to be quick, if it's going to be slow, and how much pain it's going to be. God is not one to mess with. Yes, He's a loving God. He does love us, but when you make Him mad, He comes down on you, and He comes down on you like a rock. No warning. No, don't do it again. You did it, you suffer. Simple. Obey God. Listen to God. When He talks to you, listen to Him. Don't go against Him. Because the minute you do, that could be you they find outside of the town with a lion sitting beside you and your carcass. Till next time. God bless you. May the Lord be with each and every one of you. And thank you for being here and being a part of our church. Wanda,